What's up, everyone? What is going on? Okay, I'm getting ready to leave for work. I just figured I'd throw up a quick video. That's why my shirt is dirty and my hat's my work attire. I don't have the privilege of being like a superhero Ivy League professor with tenure that can do whatever they want. I actually have to work for a living and get dirty. Okay, so we're all familiar with the police killing of George Floyd. By the way, I just want to say that the whole country, literally the whole country, is on the side of George Floyd. The cop was completely out of line for what he did. Quick prediction, I'm thinking that sometime next week, maybe by Monday or Tuesday, there'll be indictments handed down, especially to that one police officer. Rightfully so. I think what he did was pretty disgusting. Let's just get that out of the way. That literally, I have not spoken to a single person who's on the side of the police officer. I've been in police groups. I've been in pro-Trump groups, pro-Republican groups. I mean, I've spoke to so many people online and in person about the situation, and literally no one thinks that the cop was justified at all. Literally, it seems like the whole country is on the side of George Floyd, rightfully so, because he was handcuffed, he was face down, he had absolutely no way of being a threat to the police officers or himself. At this point, he should have just been, he was detained, he should have been put into the car and taken to jail, and that was it. But his death is, the liability lies with that police officer and with the police department. That's for sure. That's what most of us believe. So let's get that out of the way. I want to get into a few things about the rioting, the protesting. First of all, something like 16 buildings were burned down. They also set fire at the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis. They're rioting, they're looting, they are breaking multiple laws. Now the whole country was on the side of George Floyd, and then you go ahead and you commit the acts that you committed by burning down buildings and looting and rioting. And it's like, we were on your side until you did what you just did. You lost support from us when you start behaving like that. Now, granted, most people in Minneapolis are not rioting. Most people there are not looting. Most people are not violent protesters. Most of the people who are there to protest are there protesting their First Amendment right. 100%. And it most likely is a smaller group of people who are committing the robberies, the looting, and the rioting. Either way, it overshadows the entire event when you do something like that, and you lose sympathy, you lose support. When you commit uncivil acts like that, people don't want to stand with you. Normal people don't want to stand with you on your side and fight injustice when you are causing injustice to someone else. You want social justice because of what happened to George Floyd. We all do. But who gives social justice to the individuals who own the businesses that you are burning down, who own the property that you are robbing and stealing? Where is their social justice? So that's something that has to be considered. What's funny? I don't think there's a single Trump supporter involved in the looting, rioting, and violent protests. I don't think a single Trump supporter is there. And I know you might say, oh, that's because Trump supporters are racist. No, I've been in multiple Trump supporting groups through social media, and they're all saying the same thing, that the cop is clearly wrong, that all liability of the death of George Floyd lies in the hands of that police officer and the police department. Even Trump supporters, even Trump himself, the White House themselves already made comments about the injustice of George Floyd and that they're on his side. So that narrative would just be completely destroyed, from the outset. But no Trump. So I'm willing to bet there's not a single Trump supporter that's out there rioting or looting. It's just the way it is, and it's happening in blue cities and blue states, not in the red cities, not in the red states. They're not out there, violating anyone's rights. They're not out there looting, robbing, stealing, setting fire, committing violent acts. They're not out there doing that. And there's also been multiple gunshots in Minneapolis. Naturally, since it's such a chaotic situation, it's only a matter of time before someone gets shot, someone gets stabbed, someone gets beat up. Crimes are being committed, violence is taking place. The next point I'd like to bring out is I'm wondering if the news media in a couple of days from now will announce a rise in coronavirus cases, being that these rioters and looters and protesters are violating social distancing laws. They're violating a stay-at-home order. A lot of them are not wearing, mask and gloves. They don't have protection. They're standing too close. They're touching other people. They're fighting. They're being arrested. They're having interactions with the police. You would expect a rise in coronavirus cases. So I'm waiting to see in a couple of days from now if that's what they do. It's funny because usually the media is out there talking about how people want to go back to work. People are violating a stay-at-home order. They're showing up at the park and at the beaches and stuff. And then, states that reopen, 3 days later, they're reporting like a rise in coronavirus after a city or a county or a state reopens. And it's like in 3 days, someone got sick, went to the hospital, got tested. The test results came back positive. These numbers from the hospital were documented and sent to the FDA and the CDC and state health organizations, and they put all the numbers together, figured it all out, and then got that got that report to the news media all within 3 days. Meanwhile, we have no accurate testing. One case after the next is coming out about some tests that have been counted twice. In some cases, it was thousands of times where cases were tested twice or counted twice as two when it was just one positive test and was counted as two. So many cases already been spoken about false positives. I mean, we just have nothing accurate when it comes to this disease. And yet in 3 days after a county or a state or a city reopening, they managed to have a rise in coronavirus. That's definitely because we reopened reopened that area. Now here you have protesters out there doing what they're doing, which is essentially reopening of society. Letting people are out and about, people are in the street, they're standing too close, they're not obeying a stay-at-home order. So it's a reopening without officially saying you guys are allowed to go outside. They're just going outside, and this is what's happening. And I'm expecting to read about coronavirus, a rise in coronavirus after this, but I don't think you'll hear that. I don't think you'll hear that because I personally think that the news media, the mainstream media is behind the protesters. That well, you know what? I think we're all behind the protesters when it's a peaceful protest and they are protesting that they want justice because of what happened. I can't argue with them on that one, but I bet you the mainstream media is definitely behind the looting and the rioters. They're on their side. They won't call them out for what they are. They're calling them aggressive protesters, and they're using language like that. I've read some of the garbage from the New York Times and the Washington Post, and they're like, angry protesters and aggressive protesters. No, that's not what they are. These are rioters. These are looters. Let's call them for what they are. They are there violating not only the law, but violating the rights of people who own these buildings and own the businesses that they're burning down and own the property that's being sold out of the businesses that these people are stealing and burning down. So, but no, they won't be called that from the media. The media is, being very, very, very careful on the words they use against people on that side. I think the media is rooting for them. I mean, the media loves this because this is an opportunity for them to run a piece, run the story, film it, put it on social media, and get a whole bunch of likes, get a whole bunch of shares, a whole bunch of clicks. It's clickbait without debate, right? It's perfect. This is a perfect clickbait situation where it's technically not clickbait because it's a real story. It's really happening. People are going to click on it. I mean, this is how advertising dollars work, right? So the media, they just love this. They'll do anything to continue to push the narrative and keep it going more and more to get people to read their newspapers and read them digitally and hit the like button and share their share the posts so other people could hit the like button and share as well. So the media actually they love this, but those are just some of the points I wanted to bring out that I don't think any Trump supporters are out there doing that. Also, that the coronavirus is should spread more during this protest. We should see a rise in coronavirus cases, and I'm wondering if there will be a report about that, because there's been multiple reports when a beach reopens up. It's like a couple of days later, they're reporting that the coronavirus is on the rise because people went to the beach for Memorial Day weekend. So I want to see if the same rules apply now that there's a protest, because the virus is not a conscious being. The virus is not like, well, we're going to just fall back and let the protesters do what they have to do because we're on the side of social justice. But if you guys decide to go to the beach, that's when we're going to get you. If you decide to reopen your business because you need to make money to feed your family, that's when we're going to come for you. But if you're just protesting social justice, then we're going to fall back and let you guys go without infecting you. I don't think so. So it's going to be very interesting to see in the next few days. Also, if I haven't said it, mention it, that my prediction as far as an indictment will come for the police officers sometime next week. I'm assuming, again, I literally just pulled that out of a hat. I think that there will be an indictment for this officer sometime next week, probably a federal indictment for violating the civil rights of George Floyd, which none of us can really argue that because it seems like that's exactly what the case is. But we'll see going into the future how all this is handled. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.